We need to talk about sandwich bots on Solana. It's getting crazy out there with profits of $693,000 per month. If you figure this out, if you are able to detect a way to create your own sandwich bot and send bundles, you may very well make those profits. In this video, I'm gonna cover all the different elements that make a sandwich bot possible on Solana after some research, and how to get into this game, because of course you want to make your own bot that makes more than $500,000 in profit a month. But of course that's not going to be easy, and I'm going to show you exactly what it would take to make this possible. This will be a paid video, but I'm going to give it to you for free, so pay close attention and make sure to subscribe and like this video. So what are sandwich bots on Solana? If you don't know, they place their buys and sells in between transactions made by users to exploit price movements and make profits. They make close to $150,000 a week in profit or more. How do they operate? They see pending transactions via DApps, RPC nodes, validators, relayers, detect large swaps, and they make a bundle. It's very simple. The life cycle of a Solana transaction, this is important to understand. When someone sends a swap from the DApp, it goes to the wallet sends to an RPC node, the RPC node sends to the validator, in this case the leader block builder validator, and that is the validator creates the block and distributes that through relayers, or however you want to call it. This is important to understand because in a moment we'll see why. Enablers of sandwich attacks. This is probably the most important presentation slide, if you will, because if you understand this correctly, you can figure out a way to get pending transactions on Solana and create your own bundles. Without this, you are not gonna be able to create sandwich attacks on Solana. If you want to create a bot with that level of profitability, you need to get this right. So there are 4 potential enablers. Since we don't have a public mempool on Solana, there's no place where we can see pending transactions on Solana. We gotta be creative and get into private mempools. The reason why these bots operate so profitably is because they have private mempools, and it can be generated through DApps, RPC nodes, wallet providers, or validators. DApps meaning PumpFun, the website itself is seeing those transactions before they are confirmed, and it's making the sandwiches or sharing those with sandwich bots. We don't know if that is the case or not, but if it were the case, potentially every single swap on PumpFun would get sandwiched. It could be, I don't know, we will have to do some investigation work to determine whether PumpFun is the one causing those sandwiches or not. A good way to determine if PumpFun is the one responsible for sandwich attacks is to see if using alternative interfaces like a Telegram bot or others creates those sandwich attacks or not. Because if you go to the website, to the DApp, and you send a buy on a token and you always get sandwich, it's because PumpFun is doing something. It's sharing those transactions with sandwich bots. I don't know if that's clear, but that's the idea. And that's how you filter and determine whether it's the DApps or others. Then there's RPC nodes. They see transactions being sent. Basically, they receive all the transactions. There are a bunch of RPC nodes and people sent to one of them. And they see those transactions before they are confirmed. The swaps, when someone buys on a DEX or on PumpFun, they see that and they're able to share it with sandwich bots or sandwich those transactions themselves for a profit. I believe RPC nodes are very involved in this game. They know something. There are RPC nodes that are enabling sandwich attacks. In fact, there's one called D's node that shared private transactions with MEV bots to extract a profit, and they made $13 million or so in a few months. This already happened, so you gotta pay attention to that. Then there is wallet providers. Wallets are potentially the most affected or the most enabler of sandwich attacks, because if you take a look at Phantom Wallet, it's the most used wallet on Solana. I believe 70 or 80% or more of the users use Phantom Wallet. And the thing is, Phantom will not be able to change your RPC node, the connection to the blockchain. They are not allowing you to change it. They have their own RPC nodes, and they are the ones having access to them. So when you send a swap, it goes through Phantom, and they can see it. They can share it with sandwich bots, or they can sandwich it themselves. I believe that's the case. Otherwise, they would allow you to change your RPC, and if they did allow you to change your RPC node connected to the wallet, you would be able to determine if that's the case or not. In fact, there are a few ways to do that, but still, they can see it, and they are able to share those things. Then there's validators and relayers. I shared this in many videos, but validators, every time a block is generated, there is a leader validator that builds that block, its transaction, puts those transactions together for a profitable block. And yes, they can see it. The leader validator can see pending transactions and put them in the order that he wants to. In that case, a validator could share those with sandwich bots or make the sandwich themselves. I believe that's not the case for these popular sandwich bots, but yes, you can sandwich with your own validator, and we are going to explore, and I'm going to show you the profit that you can make and the requirements to make your own sandwich validator, a sandwich bot that works alongside your validator. So infrastructure and sandwiching on Solana, there's no mempool, like I said, so we rely on Jito to provide visibility to the public mempool, but right now that was disabled. There's no Jito enabling public transactions, so now we gotta get access, gotta be creative, and gotta find ways to get those transactions ourselves. Because once you get access to pending swaps, you can sandwich those pending swaps and confirm. Who runs the multi-million-dollar sandwich bots? The ARKS network. It's a network that they call it like that because for whatever reason, and they made $30 million in just sandwich in 2 months of sandwiching. And their professional MEV teams, they are constantly changing their addresses, because when you see an MEV bot, you may notice that it's been operating for a month or 2 at most, then it stops working. That's because they're changing addresses. They're moving their operation to another address. It's very easy to do, and the reason they do that is to hide their operations so that people don't watch them, so they are not blacklisted on different places, dexes. It's just what they do. They have multiple MEV bots, sandwich bots. They have connections. I don't understand exactly how they are operating, but they definitely run lots of sandwich bots very profitably. How to enter the Solana sandwich game? In order to become a sandwich bot as profitable as this one, the one that we've seen in the beginning, you gotta develop a popular trading or swap, because then you can get access to payment transactions. You operate a heavily used RPC node. You have a wallet that gets used by many people, or run a validator with a lot of stake, or connect or partner with many validators. Those are the main points. A DApp, where you can see transactions, or a trading bot or whatever. An RPC node, a wallet, or a validator. You gotta get access to one of those in order to make this possible. Or, of course, you can partner with someone that has one of those. Conclusions: sandwich bots are likely to persist. They will continue to evolve and change their operations, and there are still opportunities out there. Let's take a look at the sandwich bots that I mentioned. This one says $193,000 per month. This is the bot. You can see the address here. They've been operating for a month. No more than that, a month. Yep, this entire March. And if you refresh this, you will see that they are sending transactions every few minutes, sometimes every few seconds. I'm not sure why there is such a delay between transactions, but they have a win rate of 100%. They don't miss any transaction, and they are profitable, very profitable. In fact, they make 178,000 per week in profits. How do they do this? Well, I've investigated their transactions, and they are not using one single validator. So it's not because of the validators. Again, those are the 4 main points. It's not the validator that is enabling. They either have a connection to validators, they're working with an RPC or something else. But they are definitely using some kind of operation where they are able to get many pen transactions, and they're not using one specific validator. Could they be using multiple validators? Of course, it could be possible that they have a network of multiple validators and they're using those for sandwiching. But we're not gonna get too deep into this because it could take forever. Then there's this other bot that makes $577,000 per week. Per month, and per week that is about $100,000. This one is also very profitable. We don't know if it's the same group that's operating this bot, but this one is not as active. Well, for some reason, this website is not showing the most recent swaps, but trust me, they are making swaps constantly. If we go to Solana, you can see they're sending buys and sells multiple times per minute. Profitable bundles constantly. So they have some way where they are making those bundles. And it comes back to those 4 enablers. We gotta determine which one of them are they using. So I'm gonna do an investigation in another video to see, okay, which element is enabling these types of bots. Then there's this article, the Ars Network, that I mentioned. They made $20 million in a few months and more. But this is the article where I mentioned. Let's take a look at Solana bundle, a sandwich bundle. This is a pending transaction that somehow a sandwich bot recognized. And then our sandwich bot, this one for VJF, made a purchase or a sale. I believe this is the purchase, and then they sold. Well, I believe this is the purchase, this is the buy. But in any case, yeah, you can see that they are buying and selling surrounding the transaction. If you go to the block, you will see that, but I'm not gonna get into that yet. Now, let's explore the question of whether running your own validator for sandwiching is profitable or not. And I've asked myself that many times, and I came to some conclusions, but the truth is, running your own validator is a way to get pending transactions. You won't get all the transactions, all the swaps made by other users, but you will get those made on when you are selected as the leader validator, as the block producer, if you will. As you can see here, this is a validator called SIU, and they have 10,000 Solana staked. Now 10,000 Solana is about $1 million, $1,200,000. So it's not as high as other bots where they have billions of dollars on Solana, but it's still not cheap. Yet people can manage to get that stake if you run a validator node you can reasonably get 10,000 Solana if you have connections or if you create something that is profitable, more profitable than others. So my point is, okay, what if I set up a validator node? How much Solana do I need to stake in order for me to get enough transactions where sandwiching is profitable? Now, there are many things, many elements involved in a validator. You get rewards for the swap fees or the transaction fees, and you get rewarded inflationary rewards that are being sent every epoch. So that's an element that affects the profitability of this. But we're focusing on sandwiching. We want to create a validator in order for us to run a sandwich bot on top of it by getting access to pending transactions. That's one way to do it, and probably one of the most accessible ways compared to the others, right? So I asked myself, how much Solana do I need in order for me to make this profitable? As you can see, they're creating blocks. Every single block of these is an opportunity for sandwiching. I don't know how much money they made per block. It depends on the swaps, but you could reasonably say, okay, every block, I'm getting a block every hour or so. I'm generating one block every hour, and I make $10 per block based on a general consensus. So if I run, I make $10 an hour, so that would be $240 a day. This is just some quick maths, but the truth is, we gotta determine, okay, how many blocks is this validator generating? Because the only way to sandwich is to generate a block. And I executed this command, which gets the leader schedule. If you explore more about, if you investigate how validators work, you gotta understand that every epoch, every 2 days, the leader schedule is released. So all the leaders are distributed a block that they will create, and you can determine, you can see which blocks this validator in particular is going to generate and how many. So in this case, if we run this, you can see that it's generating about 21, I counted this, about 21 blocks in total over 2 days. 21 if you make $10 in profit on average per block, you will make 210 in, how did this, you will make $210 in 2 days with this particular stake, and this is $1 million. So you gotta ask yourself, is this worth it? I mean, this is money from other people, right? People put that money into the validator, you just run it and get those sandwiches going. And their stake is safe. You won't be able to steal people's money when they deposit on your validators. There are mechanisms, there are systems in place to not lose money on deposits, even if your validator stops working or whatever. But the point is, it's very safe to deposit your Solana into a validator, no matter who it is. And you don't need that money. Someone else could put it. If you manage to get $1 million in stake, which is significant, right? Don't get me wrong. But if you manage to do that, you will be making about $210 per every 2 days, or about $100 per day, or $105 per day. That's the potential profit with $1 million of stake. Now, if you go further than that, if you stake 10,000 or 50,000 Solana, you will make significantly more, maybe 1,000 a day or more, just because your stake is higher. You are generating more blocks, and you're able to sandwich more blocks for profit. I hope that's clear, but this is how you can use a validator to create your sandwich bot and what it would take. So you gotta determine how many blocks you are generating given the stake. This is Solana page, by the way. How many blocks you're generating per epoch using this command. and the potential profit that you make per bot, per block. You can determine that yourself. You can explore that yourself, but overall that's the idea. And then let's take a look at the final point of this video, which is Sandwich Me. This is a website that was created a while ago, and it's very useful because it shows you sandwich bots right here in the sandwich stream. In the sandwich stream, you can see sandwich bots working. If you click on here, you can see there's the buy, the victim transaction, and the sale. So in this case, the sandwich bot is, it's kind of weird. It's this address, I believe. Yeah. So my point is, this website is very useful to analyze the sandwich bots that are operating. How do they operate? What leader validators are using? What transactions they are sandwiching? Is it only transactions sent by specific DApps or trader bots? In any case, the idea is that you use this tool to analyze sandwich bots and determine, okay, who is making those swaps and how are they making it possible, how they're getting those bundles. That's how you learn. You simply analyze and you determine, okay, you figure out, okay, this is how they operate. Anyway, hope this video was helpful and you learned how sandwich bots work. You saw 2 sandwich bots out there that are making significant profit, and this is real profit. They may be connected or not, we don't know that. You saw the Ars network, how a real sandwich bundle on Solana looks like, how profitable and how much they cost, a validator that they cost to make one, a sandwich validator, and the website Sandwich Me. Hope this has been helpful. Make sure to subscribe, like, join my email list, everything down below, and see you in the next video.